Thanks for checking out this movie review. This is for the 2022 film Werewolf by Night. And some people may be seeing me put this review out and be kind of confused, like, this is a Marvel property. This is on Disney Plus. Yes, I do have Disney Plus for a bunch of reasons, but I do like Marvel stuff. I will watch the Marvel movies. Yes, my interest in them has waned over the years, but when I saw this, which is obviously very horror inspired, I was like, oh, I got to give that a shot, and I heard good things. I liked it. I don't think I liked it as much as people I had heard from, but it is good. I mean, I don't think you're ever going to get, like, a really bad product out of Marvel because it is such a, high production, but every now and then you get stuff that's just not seeming that great. But let's get into Werewolf by Night. Directed by Michael Giacchino, who is a composer with 157 credits on IMDb. So this is their first film directing. And I gotta say, directing was outstanding. Cinematography, outstanding. All that stuff that you just expect from a Marvel film. They're always super, super polished. It's just very interesting to me that there's a composer who then goes to directing. But obviously he has the eye. He has a good eye. He knows what he's doing. So that was good. The script was written by Heather Quinn, who wrote 4 episodes of the Hawkeye show, which I thought was decent. And Peter Cameron, who wrote Flight from Hell, Lost in the Pacific, 3 episodes of the Moon Knight show, which I did enjoy, and 9 episodes of WandaVision, which people rave about. I also liked, but I didn't like it nearly as much as everyone else did. I felt like the pacing was pretty bad. It felt pretty stretched out there to hit a certain number of episodes. But the concept was really good. There's a lot of good stuff in it. Jerry Conway and Jack Russell created the original comic. And just to note, there is a character by the name of Jack Russell in the film. So obviously paying tribute to Jack Russell. Quick synopsis. I think the title gives too much away. I will say that. I think that they should have not put that in there because then there would have been a nice kind of surprise element within the film. So I can tell you, it's not a spoiler, there is a werewolf. It's called Werewolf by Night. Well, so it's basically about the patriarch of an organization, Ulysses Bloodstone, has passed away. And there is an actual artifact item called the Bloodstone that everybody wants because it has special powers. And basically a bunch of the top monster hunters are assembled to compete in this interesting competition, which I'm not going to tell you what it is, in order to see who, takes over the mantle as the head of this monster hunting organization and gets control of the Bloodstone. So, interesting concept. I really dig that concept. They executed it well-ish. I mean, I felt like it could have been more exciting than it actually was. But I'll get more into the bits and pieces that I liked versus didn't like. It looks and feels like old-school Universal monsters. They even put cigarette burns in it, which I'm sure everyone, just like me, has become very cognizant of cigarette burns in film because of Fight Club, when they actually pointed out. Prior to that, you didn't even see it, but once they actually pointed it out, you're just like, now I see it every time. So they even put cigarette burns in there. Nice attention to detail to make it look super old. Even the font and how they do the title and everything, same, very Universal monsters. So you can see a lot of inspiration from those old Universal Monsters films. So anyone who's into that stuff will probably find a good nostalgia factor to this. And that even goes over into the design of the werewolf himself. Is very much like, Lon Chaney's werewolf. Or I think it's Lon Chaney Jr., but his werewolf and what he looked like. So love it, hate it, whatever. I thought it was cool. I thought it was an interesting idea. Again, it's shot really well. Directing's really good. Cinematography's really good. The acting is very good, as it always is for Marvel films for the most part. It's done in black and white, and I really don't think that actually detracts from the film. If anything, I think it actually helps it out. Because there is CGI in this. There's always CGI in Marvel films. It's usually super heavy. I don't think they go super heavy in this one, which I was kind of surprised with. But I think that shooting it in black and white actually helps with making the CGI look better. Because if you've seen any of my other reviews where I talk about CGI, when it's really well lit, when it's not like dark or like in black and white, it's way easier to see like the wonky edges of CGI, and it just doesn't look as realistic. It doesn't look like it necessarily fits fully in the world that's been created there. But it looks like it fits with this, and I really think that the black and white really does help with that CGI. So I think that was not just a good nostalgia choice, but I think practical choice for CGI. The story setup is very intriguing, and it reminds me a tad of the film The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which, say what you will about that, I think it's a fun film. I know it's not a great film, but I just think it's fun. That is like a so bad it's good for me personally. I have my fair share of those films that I'm into. I don't own League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but maybe I should. It's fun enough. Like Marvel films, there are highly choreographed fight scenes. Not like a ton, like there usually are in all the Marvel films, but you can tell, like, oh, this is a Marvel film because of, like, the highly choreographed fighting. Yeah, I mean, that stuff gets a little boring to me. Like, sometimes I don't want it to be highly choreographed. I want it to look a little more messy, and I kind of would have liked to see it be a little more messy in this, but I expected it to be the way it was. There is an interesting direction they take the story. It's not super straightforward, which is good, because for something like this, you actually want to show, inject some extra interest by doing something a little bit different. I like where they decided to take it with certain characters in it, and that's all I'm going to say about that, because I don't want to spoil things, obviously. I think people should check it out. The other thing to know is it's a short runtime. It is under an hour. I think it's like 56 minutes, 54 minutes, somewhere in there. So kudos to them for feeling like they didn't need to make this the length of an entire film. I mean, this was just direct to Disney Plus, so some people may even look at this and be like, well, it's not really a movie. I mean, it is. Like, Host was a movie and it was under an hour. I know I always point to that, but I just like that they only take as long as they feel like they need to tell the story. And I would actually argue that this actually could have had a little bit cut off of it, because for how short it is, the pacing isn't perfect. It isn't great. It's good. And they could have tightened it up a little bit, because there are definitely moments where it feels like it kind of drags, which is not good when it's under an hour. Just saying. There's a character in this that I was delighted to see. I can't hint towards the character or anything. I don't want to ruin that, because if people are going to watch this, there is a surprise character that I was very happy to see. And that's all I'm going to leave it. If you want to know, like, if you really want to know, I'm sure you have a good idea if you've seen it, but you can ask me in the comments, whatever. And also, when you do comment, if you've seen it, you can go ahead and do spoilers in the comments. That's totally fine. We can do that. Be warned, everyone. They do take the cheap way out on the werewolf transformation, because any film having a werewolf in it is going to have a transformation scene to some degree. With this one, they take the cheap way out, but it's old school. So, I was kind of let down by it, because I was like, they could have done a cool transformation, but then at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but they're trying to go for like an old Universal Monsters thing, so like, I kind of feel like I have to forgive it for that reason. So, kind of in between on that one. I really did want a better transformation, because it's not good. There's humor in this. Like, all Marvel films have humor, and I kind of would have liked it without. I don't really understand why Marvel films always feel like they have to have this formula of, like, we need to have humor in it, it's gotta have humor. And with something like this, I think it would have played much better without any of the humor, because the other thing is, the humor's not funny. I didn't have a single moment where there was a humorous thing in there that I was like, oh, that's funny. No, it was all like, oh, they're attempting humor and not doing it well. Unfortunate. The ending is pretty solid, and they do something very interesting visually. That's all I'm going to say. There's a change in the film visually towards the end. I'm not going to tell you exactly what that is if you're going to watch it, but I thought that was a cool choice. I really did like that. I think there's a little bit of symbolism to it as well. But yeah, that's basically all I have to say. It's pretty solid. I did enjoy it for what it is. It's not a big time commitment, so I think it's definitely worth watching. So out of 5 stars with half stars in play, I'm going to give it a solid 3.5 star rating. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I don't, it's not going to make my top 10 list of horror films for the year, but I thought it was pretty solid and it's worth watching for less than an hour. Like, that's the big thing, is the time commitment's not big. It's definitely worth it. So, again, would love to hear your comments on this. Love it, hate it, in between. Put it in the comments. Like I said, you can do spoilers in the comments. That's totally fine. Do me a quick favor. Hit subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please, if you haven't and you want to watch more than one of my videos, I understand if you only want to watch one and you're out. If it's not your thing, that's fine. But if you want to watch more than one, I feel like you owe it to me to subscribe. I really, really do. Because I'm putting out free content. It's quick, painless, costs you nothing to subscribe, and I do appreciate it. Also, hit the notification bell button, because then you know when I'm putting up all my videos, which I'm doing at least 4 a week, which I think is a good amount, putting in good work. But regardless, thank you for taking your time to watch this video, and until next time, keep it brutal.